What's up, guys? Man, look at that. Look at that. What is that? Brisket? Nope. It's actually chuck roast. So, in today's episode, we're going to show you how we made some poor man's burnt ends out of chuck roast. Are they as good as brisket or as hard? They're definitely not as hard, but are they as good? Let's find out. Alright, so to begin, you want to take the chuck roast and cut it into little chunks. First, you split it about 4 or 5 sections and then break that down. Next, you want to take the rub of your choice. Now, we went ahead and put the chuck roast on a grill grate just to make it a little easier to put on the grill, but that ended up being a mess and we didn't even use it. So, FYI, you might just want to season them directly. But once you do that, just go ahead and apply the rub liberally, and that's pretty much it. Let them sit there for a few minutes, let everything absorb while we go outside and get the grill fired up. So I'm using my PITBOSS ceramic Kamado along with this hardwood lump charcoal. I was actually gifted this by another YouTuber, Mark in the Pit, so shout out to that. So you want the fire grate filled up this full. Not too full, that's gonna lend some really nice smoke flavor, but not as nice as this. Alright, so the grill's coming up to temp. I am going to go ahead and take some of this pecan wood, a few chunks of that, and then drop it all into the pit. You want to make sure with these Kamados, not necessarily now because it's not really that hot, but if it is hot, before you open it, just go ahead and burp it like that, just so you don't get a sudden rush of oxygen and an explosion. Alright, so what I'm going to do is take a few of these chunks. That's a good sized one there. Look at that. Drop it right there. Kind of bury it in a little. Another one like that. Again, just mix it in. Now it is really hot, so having these protective gloves is usually smart. I like to just nuzzle it in there. Now these gloves are awesome. You see, I just basically touch hot coals and it was fine. If they are wet, you will get a little bit of heat going through, but just make them sure they're dry and you'll be all right. So that's 3 very large chunks of pecan on there. I'm going to let that settle down a little bit, throw the grates and everything, and then we'll be ready to cook. All right, now it's time to throw on these burnt ends that we chopped up earlier. Let's go ahead and give them a little extra seasoning. Never too much of this. Meat magic. A lot goes a long ways. So I am now taking these burnt ends and I'm just putting them on the grate right next to the pork. It is a very similar cooking method for both. You just want to keep the temperature steady and as close to 225 as you can. But hey, this is the real world and that doesn't always work out, but should be fine. Just keep them steady. Alright, as you can see, I have the poor man's burnt ends on the grill along with the pork shoulder. Everything's close together, but it's not actually touching. That way that pecan smoke and the mesquite lump charcoal all dance around it and make it that much better. Alright, so it's time to close it up and let it do its thing. Right, the grill's stabilizing, so let's check it out. Look at that, look at that. Nice, relaxing smoke session. Not that kind. This is what it's all about though, just hanging out in the yard, enjoying this beautiful view while we're working on this delicious meal. Wow, look at that. They're really coming along. Getting some nice color to them. The internal temperature on the pork, according to this guy, is 169, and then the temperature on the grill is 259. So let's check it out. They're really getting close. All right, so they've been on the smoke for some time now. Let's check it out. Wow, look at that. Looks like they are definitely getting there. The burnt ends here are building a bark. They're nice and hot for sure. So it looks like they're good to go. And so what I'm gonna do is go ahead and put these burnt ends in some sauce in a foil pan. All right, and so for the burnt ends, I have a couple of things I'm gonna put in the container with them. First is the smoky tomato ketchup. It's more or less barbecue sauce. It's really good stuff, and I had it, so we're gonna go ahead and use it. And then since this is really tart, gonna even that out with this Kinder's mild barbecue. This is definitely on the sweeter side, still very good, but both of them combined should be a nice sweet and tangy taste. You can see this definitely got some nice bark going. They're good to go. Look at that. They got the nice bark developed. Definitely the dark color. It's looking good for sure. Let's go ahead and sauce them up. So first I'm going to use this smoky tomato ketchup. It is ketchup, but tastes a lot like barbecue sauce. It's really tart, and then it's nice and spicy. So gonna pour some of that on there. And then I'm also going to be using this Kinder's mild barbecue sauce. This is on the sweeter side, so it's going to balance out the tart ketchup. A little of that in there. Okay, that looks good. Everything's coated. Let's just go ahead and mix everything around. Man, this is looking really good. Then I'm gonna add just a little bit more of this Chef Paul's Meat Magic, just because it's that good. Now I'm just gonna cover this up with some foil. You want it sealed up just like that, and this is gonna go back on the smoker. All right, so they are back on there. We're gonna go ahead and let them cook a little while longer, and we'll be back. All right, so the pork butt and the burnt ends have been soaking in their own juices and some sauce for the burnt ends for a while. Let's go ahead and check them out. I'm gonna give that a few more minutes. I'm going by feel and still needs a little bit of time. So let's check on these burnt ends. Ooh, they're hot. Oh yeah, look at those guys. They are getting close for sure. Let's go ahead and test these. Yeah. 210. So they're getting nice and soft for sure. They're reading right about 200 degrees, so they're pretty much done. I'm going to give them just a little bit more time along with this pork butt covered up. Let's check it out. Oh yeah, look at those guys. Man, I wish you could smell that. So we're going by feel with these. Temperature is just about 200, but again, we're going by feel. That one's soft, that one's ready to go. That one. These are gonna need just a little bit more time. Some of them are ready, some are not. See, look at this one, the resistance versus this one. That one. You want them nice and tender. They're definitely getting there, but not quite there yet. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of stir them again in the sauce. Make sure everything gets mixed in there. Let that sauce cook down a little bit, let everything caramelize. And cover these back up and give them a few more minutes. hot. They are definitely coming along, and oh man, that's soft. Yep, that's done too. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and pull these off and then let them cool. See how they came out. All right, now let me show you guys how awesome these gloves are. You can imagine how hot this probe is. Just grabbed it like nothing. The actual pork itself, pick that up. You can only imagine how hot that is, but you don't feel a thing with these. You can even touch the grate, doesn't even hurt. All right, so we got that off. Let's go ahead and get these guys off as well and let everything rest. Oh man, if you could only smell this stuff. Oh, there we go, there we go. Now if you look at it, it looks like a saucy, delicious pile of beef. And that's literally what it is. The best way to describe this stuff, if you haven't had it before, it's almost like meat candy or something. It's condensed kind of in the way that beef jerky is, but it has a lot of bark, obviously, because of the smoking, and then the sauce is kind of caramelized on there, so just kind of gives it these flavors that you don't normally get with anything except burnt ends, I guess, or something similar to them. If you look, when you rip it open with this fork, you can still get a little bit of a meat ring or a smoke ring on it, and they are as tender as can be. Here it is plated. Everything's on there. We have some pulled pork, homemade casserole, fresh corn on the cob, the burnt ends, and obviously some sauce. Man, this thing probably tastes better than it looks, which is saying a lot because as you can see, it looks pretty dang good. All in all, this cook was definitely worth the effort. I've been wanting to try burnt ends for a while, and I have not conquered a brisket yet, so this was as close as you can get. Man, you still gotta respect that pork though. There's something about the way the Kamado cooks pork, and most everything you put in there comes out super juicy, not dried out, but still full of flavor. Now look at that. Look at that. Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Now it's time to eat it. Just as good as it looks. Just as good as it looks. All in all, definitely worth the effort. And I'll do it again. All right. Peace.